I know you have so many questions on how do you start homeschool? How do I know if I'm doing enough? Will my kids be weird if I homeschool them? You have a lot of questions on homeschooling. Some of them are totally valid. Others, you just need to toss them in the bin because they are, well, absurd. Don't waste your time on those. But I get it. Homeschool can feel like jumping in the deep end without your floaties on. Mom, I have your life ring right here. Take a deep breath because I got you. And I'm going to guide you through how to start homeschooling. Hello, Rebel Moms, and welcome to the Life Unboxed podcast. I am Jody, the mom, wife, homeschool mom of six, successful mom entrepreneur, and I am bringing you information and inspiration on raising kids, running a business, and keeping your sanity. You can find the episode show notes, Rebel Mom checklist to help you homeschool confidently, tools to make your work from home life easier, and more information at lifeunbox.blog. Now let's get into the show. Here's the truth. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start. You just need to be willing to start, adjust, and figure it out as you go along. You don't learn how to swim by staring at the water. It actually requires you getting in. You didn't know how to do this marriage thing until you actually said, I do. And you didn't have a clue how to be a parent until you actually had kids. Or, you're one of those annoying single people trying to tell parents how to parent. Yeah. There are so many things in life that require the courage of starting. It takes courage to be a beginner. It is the same with homeschooling. You aren't going to have it all figured out before you start. Sometimes you just need the courage to take the first step and the willingness to figure out as you go along. But it does help to know how do you actually start. So I'm going to be answering all of your questions. So before we dive in, let me give you my mom credentials because it helps to know that I am not just a mom of two who's been homeschooling for 3 months. I am a homeschool graduate myself. I was homeschooled from fifth grade through graduation, and I am now homeschooling my 6 kids. Well, technically 5 now because the oldest did graduate and he already has his college degree. My accumulated years of homeschool comes out to like 30 or something like that. So basically, I've reached a high enough number that I just stopped counting, but I'm not that old. Okay. Let's remember that part. I've also homeschooled every grade at least twice. Some grades it has been 3 or 4 times now. I've been around the block a time or two, and I've learned a few things along the way. So let me tell you about our first year of homeschooling because, at this point, I do consider myself an expert homeschool mom. But when we started out, I really wasn't sure if we would make it. Totally promise you. Our first year of homeschool was a disaster, and mainly due to the curriculum we used. But I walked into homeschooling with the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman cape. But I had a rude awakening. My boys were not motivated like I was when I was homeschooled. We needed to deschool, and the curriculum was just terrible. Despite all this and my doubts that I was messing everything up, we kept going, and it has just gotten better and easier. Promise it did. The biggest obstacle we face with homeschooling are our own doubts. We are so afraid of messing up, or our kids will be weird, they won't be able to hold a job, or other crazy, irrational thoughts. You would rather entrust your kids to people who see them as a job than believe that you can teach them and teach them well? Banish these doubts. You aren't going to mess up your kids, but you will be the greatest influence in their lives. That is worth more than anything a school could offer. And your kids won't be weird. Have you met public school kids lately? If that is the standard of normal, then embrace the weird. You know the weird of kids carrying on a conversation with adults, the weird of being polite, and the weird of knowing who the fifth vice president is because your kids had a question and looked it up, I will take that weird. Your kids will get jobs and be really good at them. I saw this question posted by a mom. She was worried that her kids would have a hard time with careers because they weren't used to public school structure. Uh, there are so many fallacies in this statement. I just don't have time to unpack them all. So let me say this. Your kids will learn to motivate themselves. They will know how to take on responsibility and finish their task better than any public school student. Banish your doubts and jump in. So now let's talk about how do you actually start? Because again, I know you have so many questions, and so let's just jump in. Understand, number one, understand what homeschool really is. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming that public school is the only way to school. And I get it. You are most familiar with this structure. Just because something is familiar doesn't make it the right way or the best way to do something. Homeschool is not public school at home. Yes, math can be done on the stairs or with a dog in your chair. And no, you don't need to school for hours and hours a day. Boil public school down to actual learning time and see what you come up with. Eliminate recess, classroom management, lunch breaks, and all other breaks, and you will come up with about 4 hours of actual learning time. Homeschooling is about freedom. It is the freedom to learn on your schedule, to not rush the process, and to pick what, how, and when you learn. I know it is scary to move away from what's familiar to you, but we've seen the results. If you look past all the stereotypes, homeschool kids turn out happy, well adjusted, and engaged. And that's me saying it, even though I know it's true. Harvard is saying it. So I'll leave a link to that article below. Now let's talk number two, the legal side. How do you start to homeschool? Start with the legal side of it. So, in my experience, the local board of education or the local school district are usually totally and completely 100% unfamiliar with homeschool law. Okay. So, they may know what is required of public schools, but it won't be the same for homeschooling. If you contact them, more than likely they will give you incorrect information and demand more from you than what is legally required. You need to know how to homeschool in your state, and you can do that by going to hslda.org. And the good news is it's not that hard. Look at HSLDA and ask moms in your local area. Find local homeschool groups on social media because these will actually give you more better and more accurate information than the local school district because they don't know homeschool law. Number three, why do you want to homeschool? Starting to homeschool is going to be hard because anything new is going to be hard, but anything worth doing is hard. Okay, so now that we've established it's going to be hard, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You are going to be figuring out something new. Your kids are going to test the boundaries. Yes, some days you're going to wonder if you can do this. I know this because I've been there, but it is totally worth it. Why do you want to homeschool? I homeschool because I want to be the greatest influence in my kids' lives. I want to be the one who sees them through their emotional ups and downs, and I want to be the one who shapes their character. To be honest with you, I don't homeschool because I love it, and that is not a prerequisite. I homeschool because it is the best thing for my kids. Number four, choosing your style. There are so many ways to homeschool. You will hear this way is the best or that way is the best. Let me tell you the best way to homeschool. It is the one that works for you. Yes, you should look into different styles. You never know, you might just fall in love with one. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. I always thought classical education was perfect. You know, when I was reading the books about it, then my ideas met my kids. And this perfect way to educate flew right out the window. They had zero interest in learning Latin or reading the classics. So I changed it. So our style has been eclectic, but since I work from home and homeschool, it is easier for everyone to use an all-in-one curriculum. We've mostly used Abeka, but we have also used Sunlight. And this really just depends, again, on the learning style and what works for the kids. Number five, Picking curriculum. This can feel like the most overwhelming part of homeschooling. You want to pick the perfect curriculum, one that will fit learning styles, it's easy to use, and you will all just fall in love with it. Okay, so here's the reality. There's no such thing as a perfect curriculum. Sometimes curriculum is great for 1 year and then terrible for the next year, or you love the math and hate the rest. This is just the reality of homeschooling, and that's okay. Pick the curriculum that you think will work for you and then make adjustments as you go along. There are pros and cons to every curriculum. If you're looking for free or cheap, then know that it will require more planning on your part and probably a whole lot of printing. So think about the printing costs too. If you want an open and go homeschool curriculum, then those are going to be more expensive as well. But you are paying for the ease of use. And to me, the trade off is just worth it. At the place that we are, it's just worth it for us. Keep in mind, you aren't married to your curriculum. This isn't an everlasting covenant you are making, although it can feel like it. You are free to change your curriculum mid-year or make changes the following year, and you will, so just plan on it. If you want more guidance on picking a curriculum, let me take the overwhelm and stress out of it. So go grab the Momtrepreneur's Guide to Homeschool Curriculum. Has over 60 pages of sanity-saving tips. Number 6, create routines. It is going to take time to get into the groove of your homeschool day, so be patient with yourself and your kids, but start creating routines. This will help to set your day on autopilot and take some of the nagging out of it. If your kids know what to do, then guess what? They will do it. Well, for the most part. Routines help to set your expectations for the day. Start with a morning routine and set your homeschool day up for success. Now, let me just interject because I know there's a whole lot of information in here. So if you find something that you want to continue that thought process, check out the description below because there's probably another show or podcast in there that's going to help you continue that thought process. Number 7, find community. We homeschool so we have the freedom to school on our terms. That doesn't mean we need to do it alone. Find a community of like-minded homeschool families that you can do life with. This will give you a support system. And when you need to ask questions, get advice from moms who've been doing this longer than you, and even vent to someone who understands exactly where you're at. And you can also find local homeschool groups at hslda.org. Number 8, get started. Stop thinking about it and get started. Sometimes you just need to make the leap. It may look like a belly flop when you first do it, but with more practice and experience, your homeschool can be a beautiful dive. But to get there, you need to make that first jump. Buy the curriculum and just do it. Number 9, banish the doubts. I know the thoughts that will be tumbling through your mind. Am I doing enough? Can they keep up with the public school? Will they be successful in life? Mom, the stats are on your side. Remember the Harvard study from earlier? Yes, you are probably doing more than enough. The public school system is a failing system. Why would you want to keep up with it? That is just a downward spiral. Yes, your kids can be very successful in life, so banish the doubts and homeschool your kids. Finally, number 10, make adjustments. You will never have a perfect homeschool. Tell yourself this over and over again. The beauty of homeschooling is that you can make adjustments, and you will. Just when you think you finally landed on the perfect way to homeschool for your family, you will change it. And that's okay. This is completely normal. Start homeschooling and make adjustments along the way. Mom, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. The first day won't be perfect. And spoiler, neither will the fifth. But each day is a chance to learn, grow, and reconnect as a family. How you start homeschooling isn't about creating the perfect student or mom. It's about freedom, being the greatest influence in your child's life, and having the courage to take the first step. And that is a wrap for this show today. Thanks for listening, and be sure to check out lifeunboxed.blog and download your Rebel Moms checklist. And happy homeschooling and working from home. And I will see you next time.